Well, towards the end of my professional career, I'd struggled with injury over about a 2-year period. I battled to try and come back several times. I spent obviously a lot of time in and around the physio department. Obviously built up a relationship with the physios, and when it was time that I had to retire through the knee injury that I had, the physios encouraged me to head down this route. At that point, I didn't know what to do with myself because it was a difficult time for me, but with their input and help, they sort of helped me see the light a little bit and encouraged and helped me on my way to becoming a physio. Yeah, you'll never forget those dark times. It still haunts me now, and it was something that the experience at that point that I'll never forget. But you have to move on with your life. You've got your future ahead of you. I finished when I was 21 years old, so it wasn't though as an end of my career. So yeah, you have to look forward, and with the PFA's input, I went to meet with them several times, and they helped me massively along my future career path in the physiotherapy world. At the time when I was training, I started in 2002, qualified in 2006, so it's a 4-year part-time course. And on that, you've got an allocation of ex-professional footballers, so you've got people in the similar sort of situation to yourselves. Some who have had to retire through injury, and others that have just fell out of the game, because of end of contracts or end of careers. It's an excellent course. They look after you really well. They embrace the PFA, the lads there. Obviously now it's more widespread at other universities, but at that point it was just Brunel in London and obviously the Salford course. But obviously it gave us great insight into the physiotherapy world. Absolutely. I didn't get on the course straight away because I had to do access courses, again funded by the PFA. But so I still maintained a little bit of a link with the Man United guys. And then obviously when transferred the year after into the university, to have similar people with the same sort of mindset, like I say, going through the same sort of issues that you've had, having had to finish professional football prematurely. It was a great help, and you could again keep the training room banter going, and it was very, very, very helpful. When we did clinical placements, I came to Sheffield United on my final one. And maintain my relationships that I built with the physios that were currently working here, and luckily a position came available, and they liked me, I liked them. It was a perfect fit, and since then I've been here ever since 2007. First, it was quite difficult to get back into the mould of entering the education side again, but you become accustomed to it eventually. You bed in, and yeah, it does take a little bit of time, but everything's possible. It's nice to be still involved in a profession that I've always known. It's different. It's totally different being on the other side, as they call it, on the staff side. But you still, in the physio room, you still get the lads coming in to chat, and lots of banter flying around. It's good that I've had an insight into that in the past, and I think it does help in this environment, working in this environment, even on the medical side of things, or the coaching aspect, or any other field within football. Actually understanding the game, having been a player prior to that, does put you in good stead in how to deal with this type of environment, because it's unique. I think naturally you do have a little bit of regret, but in terms of the guys that you've mentioned, how proud am I in terms of saying that I've been able to play with those guys at times. And obviously I was at Lilleshall as well, national school, and I've seen people like Jamie Carragher achieve what he's achieved as well, and various other Gavin McCann, and I just think it's absolutely fantastic. So there's no sort of resentment or anything like that. You look back and you think, what if, and if my body would have been able to tolerate the demands of the sport a bit better. But you can't always look back. You've got to look forward. And yeah, I'm in a very comfortable place at the moment with my home life and professional life. I was there at a very exciting period. We just obviously won the league for the first time. As well, the first team squad have just won the league for the first time, and I was there for the '99 season, which, the treble season. I've never known anything like it. Unfortunately, I was injured at that point. I was battling with my knee injury at that stage, but I was still involved in the whole process, and obviously not as directly as the other players, but it was just a fantastic time to be at the club, and I can't speak highly enough of the place, because again it's a unique, and they call it, it's such a multinational recognised club, but it's still got that family atmosphere when you're actually part of it. I struggled for 2 years. I tried to make little comebacks, but needed further operations after sort of 3 or 4 appearances. Unfortunately, it was looking quite positive at one point, making the first team squad and the first team bench, but I look at it now, it just wasn't meant to be at that point. But yeah, I look back with fond memories, and no one can take that away from myself and the experiences that I had, and also what my family and my current wife, who was my girlfriend at the point, she had as well. So it was absolutely fantastic period in my life. Well, when I signed for them initially at 16 years old, he came over to Rotherham to my grandma's house and spent about 2 hours with us, sat there just while we were signing paperwork and things like that. He's got time for everyone, and again, he's a great man, absolute great man, and you can see that he keeps rebuilding sides time after time after time, and you still see on the sidelines he's still got that hunger and passion. Yeah, he was a very approachable man, a very humble man, and very down to earth. I think everyone has the sort of attitude or opinion that it's not going to happen to them, and unfortunately it happens to a lot more people than you realise, whether that's injury or just being out of contract and falling out of the game. And I think it's very important that you have a backup plan, but footballers generally live for the here and now, which is perfectly acceptable. But if I had any advice, I would say that the PFA is a great tool to utilise, and a great organisation that you know that the support's there for you if you require it, but definitely have a backup plan, because it can be taken away from you overnight. Obviously, when I was coming to the decision to retire, I visited Brendan Batson first in Manchester. We had a meeting, and it was a very enlightening meeting, and he made things clear for me, and what I needed to do and how to go about it. In terms of the education side, it's been absolutely fantastic in terms of funding and advice of where to head with your future life, because you're a long time living after football, and the good thing, in fact the unique thing, is that even though you're not necessarily currently playing, you're a member for life, and I think that's a very valuable and fitting aspect to the PFA, and I really do thank them for that input that they gave me in my career that I'm in now.